We want credibility in the region, then we've got to be seen as a partner in trying to solve this humanitarian crisis. Right now, we aren't, and that comes with a cost to U.S. credibility when we're trying to solve this problem.
Senator Chris Murphy, a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, earlier today on Fox News Sunday. And European nations are struggling in their response to the growing refugee crisis. So just how big a role should the U.S. play in assisting the surging crisis in Europe? The Fox News political insiders are back. John, you're shaking your head really hard.
Well, we're political insiders, so humanitarian-wise, as Americans, we'd like to help all these people. But politically, there is absolutely no appetite in our political system to do much of anything about bringing these people to the United States. It's just, in the Republican Party, zero. And the proof of that was Trump this week, who has a better heart than people know, by the way, and he does a lot of private charitable things. He came out, his first reaction was, yeah, I'd like to help and bring some of them. And then he got thinking about it and hearing about it and backed off, did a 180, said, no, we can't be bringing them here.
But Senator Murphy was right. U.S. credibility is at stake if we don't play a leadership role here, as we're not in the world. We'll talk about the Iranian nuclear deal in a second, but Russia and China are on the move in the Arctic, off the shores of Alaska. We are facing their presence of the Russians in Syria. The United States is MIA.
All right, so I hear all of that, Doug. And with respect, you talk about credibility. Right. What happened to the red line? What happened to sticking to the things that we say are going to be the hard decisions and actually doing them?
Precisely my point, Harris.
Because the world is looking for us to rescue if we had led. I'm just asking, if we had led, would this be a situation that's different?
We've led nowhere. Your premise of your question is absolutely right. Red lines are crossed. We don't stand up for anything. And we are perceived. I just came back myself from Ukraine. The level of skepticism about America is palpable because we don't stand for anything. We don't keep our word.
By the way, that is why Trump is doing well, because he just sits there and says, when I'm president, I'm going to lead. Damn it, I'm going to do boom, boom, boom. Now, maybe you don't like what he says, but at least he's strong. He's the mirror opposite of what people now see as a weak American president.
All right. So Pat, I'm hearing from Doug that Democrats may just kind of stick together on this issue. Do Republicans run the risk of seeming heartless if they don't agree on this? Because what I hear Trump and others saying is we would love to help all these people, but we have to look at reality.
I have a simple answer. We'll take all the Christians, okay? Then we don't have a national security problem.
Wow.
We'll take the Christians. Nobody else in the world wants to take care of them. How about that for a proposal?
Wow. I'm so glad I don't get your email.
This president won't be making that proposal, though. He won't do it.
So
no, you can be sure he won't.
That's right.
Because he doesn't care the Christians are massacred anywhere in the world.
I know he has.
A legitimate thing that the media is not covering enough is the specific targeting of Christians in Syria and Iraq. And that's a lot of them are getting.
Oh, you mean the part where they say they want to kill all the Christians?
Yeah,
no,
they
do it.
They are doing it. They bury them alive. They burn them.
Have been killed.
Yeah. As you look at those pictures, though, you saw that toddler wash up. Yeah. These pictures are heart-rending.
Of course. This is the consequences of war. And you say the United States needs to have a leadership position. Well, we led in the destabilization of Iraq back in 2003. And this is when this
then we ran away when it had been stabilized because of Barack Obama.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see how many of the Gulf states will take these refugees. We've gotten some numbers. They don't call them refugees. They call them migrants, which they say will allow some of the Gulf states, the United Arab Emirates, will allow them to balloon their numbers because they don't consider them to be coming out of war.
Vladimir Putin. Let's be very, very clear.
How many is Russia taking?
Russia is going into Syria saying they're trying to stabilize the situation.
They deny it.
Stand up against Islamic fascism. The refugee crisis is a direct result of ISIS. It's divided Europe. We're silent. Putin is winning.
No.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about what happened on Friday. By the way, Friday, 9/11, Congress passes the Iran deal.
Well,
on 9/11.
No, they don't pass it. They don't stop it.
They don't stop it.
They don't vote.
They don't stop it.
Well,
and that's a beautiful correction of you on my part.
The Senate did not stop it. It was filibustered.
So can we pop up that new CNN poll? Because this came out a couple hours ago. Iran will violate this deal. How many people believe that? Add up those numbers that have either extremely, very, somewhat likely, 90% according to this poll.
Yeah, and how could you be a Democratic senator and support this deal knowing that? I mean, it's incredible.
They had to have heard something, Doug, when they were home from their constituents this summer. Did they just ignore their voters when they were home?
Yeah,
Yes.
they did, because the President of the United States used raw political power to say that they would be marginalized and just basically treated as non-people. The fact that there was no vote at all, it was a filibuster in the Senate, is the most cynical thing of all. Pat, you've got some comments about what you think the
Go for it,
political
Pat.
impact will be.
Well, I think the circumstances are these. The country is in revolt. What the political Washington proved that it can do nothing. As just was suggested, the American people moved against this deal. The leadership in the elites, in particular in the Democratic Party, as it was with Obamacare, is the people can go to hell. And that is because they respond. I watched some of the speeches. There was no debate on the floor. I would have loved to hear someone defend how they could support this deal with Iran inspecting itself. But even what McConnell called was a joke. My question is this. The Democrats have basically said to Israel, goodbye. They have basically sold Israel out. The 42 votes that would not even allow a vote to be taken is a disaster against democracy. These people are going to pay a price.
There's going to be a vote on sanctions
and I talked last week,
forward.
very heavy.
Yeah, the second
Very
vote
heavy
will
that people are going to behold them. But why didn't, I want to ask one quick question of everybody. Why didn't McConnell do a nuclear option in the Senate the way Harry did?
That's a great
Because
question.
the Republicans always surrender.
All right,
That's
we're going to
why.
step away. I'm going to hold that question in our little bucket to re-ask. When we come back, stay with us.